Hey, everybody. I wanted to talk today about my most successful video on YouTube. I think it's clocking up about, I don't know, over 300,000 views at the moment. So I thought it would be very worth talking about that subject, which is Daughters of Narcissistic Mothers and the impact that has on you growing up. If you've grown up with a narcissistic mother, it has a very profound impact on you. You know, you grow up to feel you're not good enough, or you have such low self-esteem that you often repeat the pattern of abusive partners. Your boundaries are weak, you fear confrontation, and other people's very easily push those boundaries down. And quite often daughters of narcissistic mothers are very high achieving, but nothing they ever achieve will ever be successful enough. Or they can go the other way and be underachieving and almost self-sabotage their chances of success because they think, well, I'm not worthy of anything anyway, why bother? So, being a daughter of a narcissistic mother can have very, very, very profound impact on you when you grow up. You also have an armor around your heart just to protect yourself, but you often just feel like, I don't fit in, I don't belong. And you end up sort of always on the outside, never really, feeling that you're connecting to other people. You end up sort of lonely and alone. I didn't come from an abusive background. And, my memories of childhood are really, really great ones, actually. But there was enough dysfunction for me to grow up not feeling worthy. And when I ended up in a very violent relationship, and one in which I actually almost lost my life, even then I blamed myself for the abuse. I thought that somehow I wasn't worthy enough of anything better. And I would just keep trying to do more, to try more, to prove more that I could love him enough to heal him. And I just, went out of my way to just try and make it work. And in the end, I almost lost my life doing that, putting his needs totally first above and at the expense of my own. And at work, I know some of my work colleagues would probably laugh at this, but at work, I honestly felt like an imposter. I felt this whole sense for a long, long time of when are they going to find out that I really don't know what I'm doing? That sense I'm just a failure and a fraud. And I had this real fear that nothing I ever achieved. I was really successful, incredibly successful in a television career. But I often had that sense that nothing I ever achieved was ever good enough. I was that typical high achieving, very successful, but I never felt it was good enough. How many of you can relate to that? Because I know it's a very, very common thing. And I hit rock bottom, and I left a very violent relationship. I hit rock bottom, and it was just, my entire life imploded. And all that impact of all my life, of that low self-esteem, low sense of self-worth, it just got me to the point where I was on my knees, having almost been murdered, and a young single mother, government benefits. I really hit a low point. And many women that come to me are absolutely at that same point. And they don't necessarily see that why they're at that point has come from, not just this abusive relationship that they're in, and they're struggling and thinking, how did I get to this? But not really even understanding that it came way back from when they had this childhood with a narcissistic or very, very controlling parent. They don't see the connection. And so what they're doing is they're just trying everything and nothing works. You know, they're trying self-help books, meditation, trying to just heal their life, and nothing works. And I say to them, you know, you're going about it the wrong way. You're trying to put a Band-Aid and heal the pain, but you're not actually getting to the root cause of where the wounds come from. And you're spending your life in that fight or flight mode, you know, armed for battle in abusive relationships and trying to just survive and trying to fix it and make it work, or quitting jobs every couple of years like I did for a while, because, you know, you have that sense of failure, or you don't fit in, or you're always searching for the next thing to make you feel successful enough. So you keep moving jobs, and killing yourself, trying to prove you're successful enough, and then maybe you'll feel validated and maybe you feel good about yourself. Or just hiding behind that armor of strength, putting that happy face on every day, showing the rest of the world, I'm confident, I'm successful, I'm strong. But actually, what they don't realize is that you're falling apart inside, and really you're running from the truth. And it's time, you know, oh, Jill, thank you. I've just seen a comment from Jill. Thank you for you sharing your story. Well, it's my pleasure, because I just want people to see where, you know, I've come such a long way from almost being murdered by my ex to being a young single mother on government benefits, turning my life around and becoming incredibly successful. And still I had things that got in my way, you know, the imposter syndrome, the people pleasing. You know, it wasn't just about relationships. I thought it was, but actually, you know, growing up with a controlling mother, a loving mother, but very controlling, or, you know, clients I work with who've grown up with very narcissistic or controlling parents, it impacts every area of your life. You know, one of my clients, Bar, she was so enmeshed with a controlling mother that she almost found it impossible to separate from her mother. And we had to really dig deep down to see what was it that was her mother in her head, that voice in her head, and what was it that was actually her. God, there's a really weird reflection on here. I don't know whether you can see that. It's sort of like this crazy effect all over the screen, like rainbows and all that. Anyway, what I was saying, it's time to stop that self-sabotaging, high achieving, repeating patterns of abusive relationships over and over and over and over again, and face the truth, which is what you don't realize, but there's a wounded, frightened little girl inside you, and she's got her hands on the steering wheel of your life. She's the one making all the decisions and choices based on deep insecurities and fears that you might not even know are there. And when you make these decisions based on insecurity and fear, guess what they're going to be? They're not going to be decisions that serve you. They're going to be, you know, I'm going to stay in that relationship because I'm so frightened of abandonment that I'll put up with anything just so he doesn't leave me. It's not showing up for yourself at work. It's being frightened of confrontation, so allowing people to bully you or take advantage of you. It's people pleasing all the time, self-sacrificing to the point where you're so exhausted because you don't even look after your own needs, you look after everybody else's. And if that little girl inside you keeps driving the steering wheel of your life, you know how that's going to end, right? It's just not going to be great. And you know deep down there is an, you know what, I'm just going to shut this blind because I think that's what's doing this weird sort of thing. Is that better? Oh, there we go. There we go. So, you know, I know that deep down, if this sounds like you, that you know there is a different you deep down inside. You remember that strong, outgoing, fearless, fun woman. You just lost her so long ago. You've forgotten how to find her, and you just lost you along the way, and you're so unconnected to who you really are. But isn't it time for that confident, empowered, most aligned adult in you to step up? And by the way, I'm the video that I did on YouTube about Daughters of Narcissistic Mothers. The reason I called it that title was because I was talking about a book of that title. But, you know, this equally applies to guys as well. You know, so if you're a guy and you're watching this and you've had a controlling or narcissistic parent, the same thing can absolutely apply. And if you feel that, you know, I want to get back to that person I really am, if I want to find that, you know, I don't want, I'm tired of making these choices based on fear and just not knowing where I'm going in my life, but just sort of lurching from one crisis to the next and the one awful relationship to the next, or just not fulfilling your real passion and purpose in life because you're just surviving and you're just in that fight and flight mode your whole life, then it's time to become that mother to the frightened little girl inside you that you never had when you were growing up, so that you can heal those wounds, not to blame your parents, not to wallow in the past, but because you don't want to be defined by your past anymore, but you want to move forward to an incredibly amazing, empowered life where you are absolutely making decisions from your higher adult self, not that frightened little girl. Oh, hello, Vonda. Really nice to see you. And I'm not sure how to say that, but it says Alcudia Babe. Hello, Alcudia Babe. And Donna, you said my son is like this because his wife of 4 years beat him down. Absolutely. You know, you can also become like that in an abusive relationship, for sure, with a controlling, abusive partner. So there's many reasons why you can, you know, lose that sense of who you are. But if you are, you know, if you've been raised by a narcissistic or controlling parent and it's still impacting your life, you may not even realize it, but you just know your life has been impacted in many, many, many ways. You're not alone. You know, as I said, the video I did on YouTube on this subject, over 300,000 people have watched that to date. And every single day to this day, I get comments pouring into my inbox. I wake up every morning with at least 20 comments of saying, oh my God, you've just described my whole life. Then I will do two things. I will put that video in the comments, or I'll link it below. But I want to just say to you, you know, most of the women I work with are the same. And it's no surprise that many of the women I work with who have a repeated pattern of abusive relationships with abusive partners have come from childhood dysfunction, and often from an abusive or controlling parent. Either way, their emotional needs were just not met as a child, so they denied them. and were vulnerable to being preyed on by abusive partners who absolutely want you to deny all your emotional needs in favor of theirs. As I was saying, my client, the impact it had on her was she grew up to feel so unworthy that she felt that any chance of happiness would be destroyed, that she didn't deserve it. And she was in a relationship with a really nice partner, but she kept trying to push him away because she felt, if he saw who she really was, he would be repulsed by her and abandon her. So she just thought, I'm going to push him away. I'm going to destroy this before I get too close because I don't deserve happiness. And she also was the underachieving type, because daughters of narcissistic mothers can either go very high achieving and feel nothing they ever do is good enough, or go the other way and underachieve. And she underachieved. She's a really talented singer-songwriter, but she was just too afraid to ever step out and give that career a shot because she thought, what if I fail? I'm no good. I'm going to fail. I might as well not even try. So that's how she was when she came to me. And it really is what I have become expert in, freeing women from wounds that they don't even know are there from their childhood, but just know that their lives are not working and know that they just haven't found happiness. They've lost themselves so far ago that they just feel overwhelmed and have no idea how to get back to who they are again. So I'll put that video below, but I've also freed up a few slots this week in my diary because I wanted to open it up to women who have had this experience. And so I'd like to invite you, if this sounds really relevant to you and you haven't had one already, to book a free call with me, and let's talk further to see if I can free you from these, self-limiting beliefs, habits, and patterns of behavior that you might not even be aware of are absolutely getting in your way and impacting your life. But I have one caveat for this. I'm not looking for you to call because you want a quick fix and you want just somebody to say, yep, don't worry, you're fine, you're on the right track. This takes commitment, it takes dedication, and a real determination that I want to heal my life now. So if you're serious and you're ready to commit time and money to break free from the past and really absolutely seize the day and go towards that amazing life that is there, but you just can't work out how to get to, then do book a call with me. So I'll also put a link below to my calendar. Choose a slot that works for you, and I can't wait to see you there. And I'll just go back to the comments. Your name on Facebook is Alcudia Babe 1. So Alcudia Babe, you're a high achiever. Yep, that was me. But you did swing the other way after years. You went underachieving, overachieving to underachieving, I imagine. Yeah, and Stacey, you say this explains quite a bit. That's brilliant. Yeah, it's so common. I had no idea. I thought I was really strong. I was strong. I was successful to the outside world. Everyone said, oh my God, your life is amazing. You're so lucky. God, that used to drive me mad. You're so lucky. And inside, I was just the opposite. I never thought I fit in. I never thought I belonged. I never thought I was good enough. I would push myself so hard to be even more successful because I never felt that anything I achieved was successful enough. And I was really shocked to find that there was this frightened little girl inside me. I never even knew she was there. And what I had to realize was I wasn't from, as I said, an abusive childhood. But, my mom had sort of quite narcissistic tendencies, and she was quite controlling. And both of my parents were very Victorian. It was that era that children are seen but not heard. And my needs were never met. There was never any hugging. There was never any I love you. There was never any. It was more we were validated if we were successful. Academic success, a great job title meant you were worth something. And so that's why I was always driven to, have that career success, because that meant I was worthy. But then nothing I ever did was ever successful enough. Small house in the meadow. I've seen your comment and I will message you directly about that. Stacey, you said abandonment is what I fear most. You're a singer-songwriter as well. Yeah, that's exactly how you feel. Listen, it is worth, Stacey, I will put a link for you to watch my interview with Bar. That will really resonate with you, because that is absolutely what she was like, and Sarah's thoughts. You say you're seen but not heard is so accurate for my family. Yeah, it's really, really common. And often in large families where there's lots and lots of kids, sometimes I was speaking to a woman this morning and she said what happened for her was that her mother was 15 when she had her, actually. And she said she was just a child. She couldn't cope with me. So I had to become the adult to my younger siblings, so she was forced to become an adult too early. There's many, many, many ways that this can impact your life. So if this is just a taste, I'm just giving you a taste. The work that I do goes very deep, but it's so complex. It's I can't do it justice in just this, quick Facebook Live. But if it is resonating, small house in the meadow. I love your names on Facebook. You said pretty much everything you're saying is my experience. It resonates with me. I'm a singer-songwriter. I have a master's degree and still feel like I can't do anything. Or Jill, you said your mum said, quit that bawling or I'll give you something to bawl about. Yeah, I hear you. I really hear you. So I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to put my I'll put the YouTube video below. I will put the link to the interview I did with Bar, because I've been talking about her story. And I will also put the link to my calendar for you to book a free call with me. And as I said, this is only for you if you are ready to commit time and money and you're serious to put in the work, because this is not a quick fix. But I do have a program that has absolutely dramatically changed the lives of many successful women who are now just crushing it. I think if you're in my Facebook group, either today or tomorrow, I'm going to post another one of those fantastic success stories. And that will be Sarah, who is now absolutely owning her story. And she's becoming incredibly successful at work now. And she just had all this fear getting in her way. Absolutely, Stacey. When you've grown up in an environment where your emotional needs weren't met, or with a narcissistic or controlling parent, very, very common to attract narcissistic mates. In fact, that is one of the most common things you do. That's exactly what I did. I went on to just have, a pattern of really unhealthy, dysfunctional, and ultimately a very abusive relationship in which I was almost killed by my ex. Very, very common. That is one of the most common. And that's why, strangely, I've become an expert on this, because I work very closely. My goal is to end the repeated pattern of abusive relationships in women so that they can show their children, they can find themselves and then show their children what self-love and healthy relationships looks like, because I want to break that cycle. I broke that cycle. I'm most proud of the fact that I broke that cycle. And when I left and I was at rock bottom, that's what drove me. I did not want my son to grow up witnessing abuse or in a violent relationship, because I knew what would happen was he would grow up to be either violent himself, or he would become a victim of a controlling or abusive partner. And I thought, enough, it stops with me. And all the women I work with, as I've discovered, all have come from these type of backgrounds. And as I said, it doesn't have to be extreme abuse. Mine was a very happy childhood, but just dysfunction and your emotional needs never being met. And so what's happened is, as a result, I really have become expert in breaking generational trauma and understanding the connections of dysfunction and abuse in childhood, and how it absolutely goes on to impact so many ways, areas of your life that you probably have no idea even connected to that. And that's the problem. When you don't understand that, you go on your life putting band-aids on, thinking, well, if I just do meditation, if I just do positive affirmations, if I just think positively, I'm going to fix this. But you're actually just soothing the symptoms. You're not getting to the absolute, root cause. And unless you do, you just go through your life in fight or flight mode, just trying to survive. And so many women come to me just saying, I'm not living, I'm just surviving. I'm lurching from one disastrous relationship to the next. I'm lurching from one crisis. My life is drama, chaos, crisis. I'm exhausted. How many of you are exhausted? How many of you are tired of carrying that armor that you carry? You go to work and you put that face on. I'm successful, I'm strong, I'm amazing, but you're so tired on the inside, because there's such a cognitive dissonance between the reality of where you are at and how lost you feel to this life, the secret life you're pretending, the person you're pretending to be. If the gap is so big for you and you have no idea who you are anymore, then, and you're ready to just say, I can't do this anymore. That's the women I work with. So, I am proof that it can stop. You can break that cycle. My sons are now the most incredibly emotionally intelligent adults. I am so proud of that. And they are beautiful with women. They are really loving, kind, and respectful of women. They've gone on to have very successful careers, but they're just kind, Hello, Caro. Hello, Irene. Really lovely to see you here as well. Small house in the meadow. I'd love to know your real name, but anyway, you say I'm exhausted. Many of us are on here. Yeah, I feel your pain. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your comments. That's been really beautiful to interact with you, and I'd love you to do that more. Please interact with me more. And if you're in my Facebook group, go in there. Tell me what your pain is. Tell me what you're struggling with. That's what this is for. So hello, Jessica. Really gorgeous to see you in here too. Oh, Carolyn, there we go. Small House in the Meadow is Carolyn. Really, really great to have you in here. Thank you. I'm going to put a few links. I'll do that either in the description or in the comments below. And I look forward to speaking with some of you soon. But as I said, you know, you need to be serious. You know, this is not for the faint-hearted. This is only for you if you're ready to break these chains of the past and no longer be defined by them, but you want to be defined by the amazing, exciting, awesome future and life that you know is waiting for you. And trust me, that life that's on the other side is way more incredible than you can even imagine right now. If I imagined when I was rock bottom, sobbing on my bed, having left a violent man with nothing but my baby, I couldn't have even dreamt what this life could be like, and the freedom that I would feel, and the energy and joy and happiness I would have. So it's time to drop that armor. It's time to break that cycle. And it starts with you just making that choice that today is the day that I am going to do that. So look out for those links. So great to have you in here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.